over here, and so we are glad to be with you, and also to know about your experience, great experience, which you have been having more than 32 plus years of in this supply chain field. So with this, we will get into the session, and I'll share the screen so that we can go with this session, and our Qualpedia all members can be like excited to see the session. So once again, welcome, Mr. Michel, and moving ahead. And thank you for being here, Mr. Michel. I know like you have been extremely busy on many of the aspects, and being head of innovation and chairperson of Supacore, and taking your valuable time coming and being with us, talking with us. It's like highly privileged for us, for the Qualpedia team, and that gives like more confidence on our platform, that expert like you coming and sharing your knowledge, and I'm sure like this interview, it's going to help many of the members in our Qualpedia platform, and get use of this knowledge wherever in their industry aspects, and support in many of the ways. So with this, myself and Jyoti, we are here today as a Qualpedia mentor. One of our other guest coordinator, Pinakin, he has some got some technical glitch. He's facing some difficulties. Probably we can see he'll be joining in middle of the session. And in the looking on the time aspect, we will proceed further on this interview part,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Michel. So moving ahead,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. Most welcome, Mr. Michel. And it's great to know about your experience, and like you've got like more than 32 plus years of experience being in the right now in the position right now in the head of innovation and chairperson of Supacore, and also like and in your past you have been like in the you facilitated in the position of president of Australian Fashion Council. So it's amazing to see your experience, and we here very much glad to meet you over here, and also excited to hear from you and understand and get the aspects of your knowledge, and that's going to help us also a lot by learning from you today, Mr. Mikkel.
My pleasure entirely, and it's a pleasure to meet you and meet the team at Qualpedia. So we're looking forward to collaboration.
Thank you, Mr. Mikal. So moving ahead, I'll just hand over to my colleague Jyoti. So she will just give you a few information about.
Okay, so Michelle, here is a small introduction about our knowledge sharing platform. So we RSJ have our purpose of responsible value creation, which we are highly practicing since from the starting of our company. So as a part of this responsible value creation, we thought to launch our knowledge sharing platform, that is Qualpedia. So this knowledge sharing platform we have launched with a vision to create a value to the communities in a responsible way. So in our platform, usually we share a lot of articles, blogs, videos, and carousels on the topics which contains various informations about quality, conformity, maturity assessment, supply chain best practices. So these are all the few topics that we cover over there, which is helping many of our supply chain partners to have an awareness about this. For example, we have few articles where you can understand how to source or vet your suppliers when you are looking for the supplier from the overseas. So like this, so our platform has been very much active in these aspects, and we are very much happy to keep you involved in our platform to give the contribution from your end, which is going to create a lot of value to our audience of Qualpedia.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jyoti. With this, we'll move ahead for this session, and we look forward for the further experts of your view, Mr. Michel. So like we will go some of the questions now, and then we can take it up. As of my first question, Supacore offers like health related advantages in its product. Example like injury recovery and then many other aspect of the health related advantages. And similarly, lot of other brands are also selling these kind of products. So as per your domain, do you consider yourself a part of the medical products industry or fashion industry? Just we want to know on the some knowledge on this particular part on Supercore, Mr. Michel.
That's a very good question to start off with, because that's a question we think about almost every day. Supacore has been developed after about 10 years of research and testing and trialing by a group of physiotherapists and our company. So
Okay.
what we developed is a type of medical grade compression garment, which is being produced by seamless knitting. That is knitting done on a Santoni machine, circular knit garment, knitted in one piece.
Okay.
So what we have developed is classified in Australia and in Europe as a medical device.
Okay.
So it is listed in Australia in Therapeutic Goods Administration, which is the government body that prescribes medical pharmaceuticals and medical devices
Okay.
for approval. So we have this technology listed on the TGA, as it's known, as a medical device class 1. So to answer
Okay.
your question, we have our product is a medical device, and consumers who buy our product are
Okay.
able to get a rebate for their purchase from their health
Uh,
insurance.
okay. Okay. Okay.
So, but if you look at the product, it looks like an active wear product. So we sit at the cusp of fashion and meditech.
Okay. Okay.
So we have, for example, our users might wear our leggings to work,
Okay.
the black leggings, or they might wear it for the gym. But
Mm-hmm.
our main users are
Mm-hmm.
pre and postnatal women
Mm-hmm. Okay.
who pre-birth and after birth to assist with recovery. Now I can
Okay.
expand on that, but that might be a question for later.
Maybe yeah, we can. At the moment, I think we are well understood on this particular part, Mr. Michel. Like you have been serving for mostly on these products on the medical aspect, which is like you said, like the it's coming under the classification of class 1. So that's amazing to hear. Also, this group of physiotherapists they joined together along with the experts. Here it has been started. That's great to know about this, Mr. Michel. So at this initial part, I think we are well covered on this. So I can
Mhm.
move ahead further on the
Okay.
second question of mine. So I'll just move ahead. Please tell us about the few research and development input that goes into generating your products, Mr. Michel. So that gives us a little idea about on related to the medical aspect of product which you have been, which
Sure,
Supacore is making.
sure. So as I've mentioned, our product our products are we work together with a lot of medical people. So we have physiotherapists, we have obstetricians, we have gynecologists, we have
Okay.
chiropractors. So we
Okay.
get a lot of input from these people, and we have a small panel of these people who we work with on new product. We
Okay.
also engage with universities like uh, Deakin University, uh, University of Wollongong, and Swinburne University. So
Okay.
these universities have various strengths in certain products. So we go to the university where we feel they are expert in.
Okay.
The process is actually driven by our customer base. So
Okay.
where we have a need from the customer, we do a lot of research with our customers. We have customer focus groups, and
Okay.
we work out where the need is, and that then will be driven by our research and development team, taken
Okay.
over, and they will engage with a university and trial and test the product. Usually it takes 3, 4, 5 years. Like Supacore product was developed after 10 years. So it took a lot of trialing and testing. So because we are focused on innovation and we want to be unique with our technologies,
Okay.
it takes a lot of time, and we spend a lot of our resources with the R&D process of with the universities.
Okay, okay, okay. That's very interesting, Mr. Michel. Like you have been connected with the many of the medical experts also, and then also you have been connected with the universities on these research purpose, and all and it's like very interesting to hear. Like you have been doing to launch the product. It took like 4 5 years of research, and then product has been launched, like you said, after 10 years. Is that right,
Mm,
Mr. Michel? Right?
that's correct, yes.
Oh,
Supercore
that's
took
that's
10
like
years.
too long of research and process been involved on this.
Yeah,
So like normally in the like fashion industries, like any new styles or anything new to be developed, maybe like 3 4 months time, the team do the research and make the design and then get the production started. But it's being the medical, I think it's taking a lot of time for the research.
correct.
I was just wondering like how much big is this internal research team of Supacore? Maybe like 10 members, 15 members, like just a number to
No,
know.
it's a lot smaller. There's 3 key members, but
Okay.
we have a lot of freelance people in. So, for example, if the need is in the maternity area, we have to
Okay.
get because we don't have maternity experts in house. We have to bring
Okay.
in experts from outside, and they
Okay.
join the team, and then they work together in
Okay.
like a committee, like a project, along with the university.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it. So there are experts who are internal, and there are some of the areas which the experts are required for the specific domain, as you said, for the maternity.
Correct.
So it needs to be hired from outsource, and where this resource can be shared from the outside freelancing aspect. I
That's correct.
completely got it, Mr. Michel. Thank you so much for this
No
particular
problem.
sharing. And with this, I'm just moving ahead for our next question. Your products have been sold online. How do you ensure about the customer satisfaction? So that's an interesting question. Many of the retailers, importers, they may be eager to like know this answer. How you are
Hmm.
ensuring for the customer satisfaction? If you can throw a light on this, that would be really great, Mr. Michel.
Sure. So there are various risks, I guess, selling online, because one is sizing, of course, but that's not just for Supercore, it's in the wider industry. So you tend to get a lot of returns because of incorrect sizing.
Okay.
So the easier we make it for the customer to be able to get the right size with the most accurate information, that is
Okay.
one area in which we have spent a lot of time, particularly on sizing information, to make
Okay.
sure that the customer gets the right size up initially at the first time. Doesn't always happen, because sometimes the customer makes a mistake or misreads the information. The other thing is, of course, because we have taken so much time to trial and test this product with many fits, particularly in areas like maternity, where the body is changing
Right.
continuously over 9 months. It
Mhm.
takes many years to perfect that sizing formula,
Right. Right.
because ideally it would be best for the woman, the lady, pregnant lady, to go into and test, wear the product and make sure it fits. But generally, we've been able to fine tune this process uh,
Mm-hmm.
to make sure
Okay.
it fits. And
Uh,
with medical compression, the sizing is slightly different to the fashion sizing, of course, because they're very tight body compressive garments.
mhm.
So if you get the sizing wrong, it may not do the work that it's supposed to do.
Okay,
So
okay,
we do. The other thing we do is we have a continuous improvement process in which we regularly, every 3 or 4 months, survey our past customers. We'll take a
okay,
random selection of, say, 50 or 100
okay,
customers and
okay,
get them to fill out a questionnaire. We give them a discount to buy a new product if they take the time to do that. And then
okay.
we use this feedback for continuous improvement.
Okay, okay, okay. So this surveys, it's been like taken like online, or maybe like if it is the customers or comes to the store also. Is there any store which you have
No,
to
we
show
are,
your product?
we are mainly online.
Online. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
and
And
we
so
have
these surveys have been made online, and then
yes,
when they do the submission to understand their expectations, it's going to be like some of the rewards you are giving back to the customers, right?
correct.
Okay, okay. And one thing you said about in detail, Mr. Michel, about the sizing, that's like a very detailed work where Supacore is concentrating. And you said that you have done a very detailed work on matching the fitting to the end consumer, because if the fit is not going to be, the size is not going to be correct, it's not going to meet the end functional purpose of the garment of this medical
Absolutely,
product, right?
absolutely, that's correct.
That,
So
yeah,
the
okay,
whole fitting process involves the physiotherapists or the obstetricians, our garment technicians, many different sized people, pregnant
okay,
women
okay,
or athletes. So it's a very, and I would say it has been the largest consumer of time in the whole process to get this fit right. And but having spent all that time and resources, it is fully worth it because the number of returns that we get are minimal, very small.
okay, okay, okay. So, okay, I completely understand. Apart from this sizing, any other related on the maybe like anything aspect on the visual aspect, or maybe in the material aspect, any other requirements also you have been focusing more, Mr. Mish, on the aspect of customer satisfaction on this type
Um,
of products?
because we've taken so long with the testing,
Okay,
and because the garment is so technical,
okay,
we've alleviated a lot of the issues like the quality issues or the stitching issues or so our quality issues are really small. Of course, every business has a quality issue, right? Because
true, true, yeah.
sometimes, but we've been able to narrow it down because we took our time to spend on quality issues and making sure the fit is um, when we do our surveys with the
Hmm.
people, the first positive comment they make is how good the fit is.
Oh,
So
wow,
we're
okay.
very pleased with that.
Okay, okay, okay.
And I would
Amazing,
advise
amazing.
any new business that
Hmm.
is going to launch or preparing to launch to spend a fair bit of time is testing as much as possible on the fit.
Okay, okay. I got it, Mr. Michel. Thank you so much for answering in a very detailed way. So with this, I'll just move ahead with our further next question. Um, how do you ensure the consistency of quality from your manufacturers? So what are the measures you take? If you can throw some light on this, that would be great
Yes,
for our audience, Mr. Michel.
sure. So at the moment, we have been working with a factory in China
Okay,
and one in Sri Lanka.
okay.
The
Uh-huh.
factory in China we've been working with for 15 years.
Oh, okay. It's a long relationship, right?
Yeah, so they have
Okay.
literally grown with us.
Okay,
And,
okay,
and
great.
also we have shared IP, we have shared knowledge.
Okay,
And I advise people who are looking to work well with a factory in
okay,
China, or I
okay,
think that ref, reflects on anywhere really, that you need to be friendly with your factory.
okay.
You need to get to know them. You need to become their friend. Once you
Right.
become their friend, then you can work together collaboratively because each side will make mistakes, right? We
Right,
know
right,
that
right.
this is an industry that's fraught with errors. Things do
True,
happen,
true, true,
but
true.
because
That's
we're
right.
not in the fashion space,
Right.
because we
Okay.
are more technical and more medical,
Right, right, right.
our
Okay.
ranges are not wide, they're
Okay.
narrow.
Okay.
So sometimes we would run hundreds of thousands of one style,
Okay. Uh-huh.
not changing it much because, as I said before, it's a medical
Okay.
device. It's not a
Okay.
fashion
Okay.
garment. So how
Right,
we
right, right.
maintain quality is we have quality. We still have our quality person in the factory,
Okay.
ensuring everything
Okay.
is checked on each way. We
Okay.
have a pre-shipment
Okay.
quality check,
Okay.
and we also obviously when the goods arrive in Australia, have them checked by a quality person here as well. But during the manufacturing process, we're checking, the usual uh, fit samples,
Uh-huh.
lab dips in the colors,
Okay.
pre-production samples, post-production samples, size sets along the way. So there's about 10 different uh, intervals within this production process that we check the garment.
Okay, okay. So that this China and Sri Lanka factory manufacturer, which you said, Mr. Michel, is there like a Supacore team visits these factories and do these all quality checks, like ensuring the size set, color checking, or the stitching aspect.
It is checked by our team over there, but is also checked by our team in Melbourne. There's a double checking process.
Oh, okay, okay. So you have your Supacore team members in China as well as Sri Lanka
Yes,
as well, right? Okay,
yes.
okay. That's interesting. That's a great thing. Also, what the Supacore strategy has been done, and also one point which you said that's like very interesting. Also, Mr. Michel, like you said, like related to you have to build a relationship with the factory, and you need to have a good friendly aspect with the factory so that they are transparent. They come up with you and being a partner with you so that the quality can be built right from the beginning. That's a, I think, important point to notice over here. And then I think this aspect many of the retailers and importers should follow, where they be more closer with the manufacturers and then explain all their requirements and treat them as a partner, and where this quality can be as a consistent way, like right from the first order even after the 100 orders also.
Yes,
So
that's correct.
that's a, yeah,
They
that's a great.
need to be able to give you bad news.
True, true, true.
Sometimes the factories are a bit hesitant to give you the bad news. But if your relationship is evolved and you've
Right.
had a long-standing relationship and there's a
Okay.
lot of transparency, that process is quite easier. Because if there is an issue with production, it's best
True.
that everybody knows about it, because in a combined, everyone can put their heads together and try and resolve the problem. But if the
True.
problem is occurring and nobody knows about it except for a few people in the factory, it can't be resolved. So that then
Yeah.
erupts with a bigger problem. So you've got issues. So to create that atmosphere takes time, takes a long time, but whatever time is spent on creating that amicable relationship is time well spent.
Okay. Okay. I completely got it, Mr. Michel. Thank you so much. And I think I welcome Mr. Pinakin also over here in this session. Thank you, Mr. Pinakin, for
Hi
I think,
everyone.
yeah, I think you got some technical cleans and finally you got getting enter into it. And thank you for coming in now, Mr. Pinakin.
No problems. You're most welcome. I had the incorrect link.
Yeah, yeah, it's completely fine. And I just just spent the time with Mr. Michel and we got introduced. Now we are in the middle of the session, so I'll continue and then complete it, Mr. Pinakin, from my end on the
By all
same.
means, please do.
Good
Yeah,
to
thank
see
you
you,
so much.
Pinakin.
And you.
So yeah, thank you, Mr. Michel, and that's a great views and then sharing your knowledge to us, and it's amazing to hear about this consistency how you have been maintaining on the quality, and it's also good to know like the people are stationed in Sri Lanka of Supacore, and then even in China, the Supacore team is there, going in the flows, seeing the on their own eyes and ears what's happening over there, and that's going to be like really helpful in getting the consistency and the quality as well. I completely got that, Mr. Michel. So
Most welcome.
yeah, with this, I'll just move ahead. My next question is about how do you encourage your supply chain to undertake this improvement aspect in continuous way? Because sometimes you're traveling to factory, maybe first order, second order, they do good because they are new and they want to show their performance. And then like third order, fourth order, fifth orders, it gradually reduces the standard of quality. But for the continuous improvement, what are the encouragement you do? Or can you just throw some light on this, Mr.
Yes,
Michel?
yes, we've probably touched on it a little bit, but
Yeah.
we've been relatively lucky that we've been working with factories for many, many years. So we
Okay.
fully understand and have confidence in the factory. And our ranges, as I've said, unlike a fashion business where you're changing colors, designs continuously, ours luckily doesn't change given the
Okay.
medical aspect of it. So the fit remains the same. We might change a color. The most adventurous thing we will do is change a color. So it's until we introduce a new style, of course. But there are many iterations that happen with if we introduce a new. Now we have not introduced a new style. We probably would introduce a new style once in 6 months.
Okay. Okay.
So the consistency is important. Continuous
Okay.
improvement. To be frank, open communication and
Okay.
not missing any checks during the process, during
Okay.
the is key. Because if you tend to skip things,
Okay.
oh, that for example, I did the blue lab dip last year. Just do the same one. Uh, don't bother sending it to check. Don't worry about the QC checking it. That's where you have problems because you tend to shortcut things
Okay.
and things get missed in communication. So
Hmm.
adhering to all the quality steps is key. Open
Okay.
communications are key,
Okay.
and maintaining rigid standards, I guess, would be the key.
Okay. 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 I understand. I completely got it, Mr. Michel. So that's good to know. Like, not to make any shortcuts during the process, even if it is a repeat orders. And as you said, there is no changes much in the design, colors, as how it happens normally for the fashion industry. So in the medical related garments on the products, like it's going to be like more or less the same type of fabric or maybe the colors, not much changes on the design. So this itself, it's going to be like many of the challenges are going to get reduced because of that aspect itself.
Correct.
uh, and uh, and also as you said, like every aspect, like every not there should not be any shortcuts during the process, even for the repeat orders,
Yeah,
and get it done
that
for
is
the.
my big recommendation to the supply chain. Do not take any shortcuts. Make sure
Okay.
that every aspect of the quality control is conducted, even though it's the same style that you have done 50 times before. You maintain the same standards without any
Oh,
shortcuts.
okay, okay, okay. That's a good knowledge, which all many of the retailers and importers need to think about that. And it happens sometimes. Like first order, it will be like so much cautious. Second order, it will be like little we go flexible with the supplier. And third order, fourth order, fifth orders, we used to say like, okay, so you know the aspect well, so you do it yourself. And then when the fifth order goes to the destination country, then the surprise will be like, okay, I ordered blue, but it came like navy. What happened over there? So
That's a good example of what happens. And it does happen. You can rest assured that that will happen.
true, true, true. That's like even like even manufacturer doesn't do like voluntarily. Like it is not like he want to do that as like a voluntary aspect, but he also misses the aspect like it requires blue. Maybe there is no one is monitoring the product that time, and it
Yeah.
happens to change, like instead of blue it become like navy,
Yeah.
and then he also gets surprised after when it been highlighted from the destination country. So
Correct.
yeah, that is like a good point which need to be highlighted. That's like great sharing, Mr. Michel. Thank you so much for sharing that. So with this, I will move ahead further. Uh, my next is related the aspect of as a leading brand of compression wear. How do you choose your suppliers? Like it would be great, like if you can share some lights on this.
As I mentioned, we've been lucky that we haven't had to choose suppliers for many years since we've been working with them for over 10 to 12 years.
Okay,
So
okay.
in my previous business, which
Mm-hmm.
was in fashion,
Okay,
we used to work with the same suppliers.
okay, okay,
So we have developed them. So how do I choose them?
okay,
Uh, if I go back to the two suppliers we use at the moment, who we've used for many, many years, I would
okay,
say reputation is, and I can actually quite comfortably say that the two factories we use are probably rated in the top 10 factories in the world.
oh
They're,
wow.
they're used by many of the major brands,
Okay,
uh,
okay,
major athletic brands, major
okay,
compression brands of the world, US brands, European brands. So
okay,
their
okay,
standards, their credentials are very strong.
okay, okay,
Um, we would do that. We would do a lot of testing with them up front as well,
okay,
still, because even the best factories make mistakes.
okay,
Uh, but it's always better to use a factory that has already established
okay,
good
okay.
standards and good
Mm-hmm.
credentials and
Okay, okay,
uses the best of machinery, etc. So
okay,
if I was to look for a new factory today, and I'm not looking forward to that
okay,
because there's a lot of hard work involved, I would visit the factory. I
okay,
would visit with my quality team and we would do the due diligence. We would do a factory visit inspection and
okay,
check all the details. We would make sure we would look at its production. We would look at all the shortfalls that it
okay,
has. We would test product. We would get samples done. Uh,
okay.
and very important these days is the whole social equity and sustainability aspect of it. We would make sure that all that's up to date and current, which is really important because uh, if we're using a factory that the major global brands are using, you can rest assured that these checks have been
Okay.
done already. So that's a plus, but it's not the only thing we should rest our laurels on. We should do our own due diligence.
Okay, okay, okay. Completely got it, and it's a
We
great
would
thing.
also not place a large percentage of our business with any new factory. We would do, as you've alluded to, actually 2 or 3 test orders
Okay, okay,
uh, up front to see how they're traveling and then gradually increase the business.
okay, okay, okay. That's a valid point also, Mr. Michel. That's like starting with the like very small quantities and then see their performance, and then let's see like after 1 or 2 orders, they if they cope up on the things well and then they deliver on time, keeping up their promises, looking on those aspects, then the orders can be gradually increased. So that's going to help for the longer term relationship with that new suppliers. So
Correct.
that's a great point also, Mr. Michel. Thank you
And
very much.
you may or may not use them after the first few orders.
Yeah, 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 true. Like if the performance and then the quality of the product as promised is reaching to your destination or not. So you will get to know like on all these aspects in 2 or 3 orders in the initial
Correct.
small quantities. And then when
Correct.
once you get the confidence and the building up relationship with the suppliers, and then you can gradually increase the volumes and become like a longer term partner with you on the same. That's a great point, Mr.
That's
Michel.
correct.
True. So with this, I'll just move ahead with the our next question. So that's about how do you evaluate your suppliers? And so just want to know, throw some light on this, Mr. Michel, like evaluating your suppliers on the same.
Yeah. As I've discussed, we don't have a huge number of suppliers. We have 2. So there's a continuous process. I mean, every supplier is assessed. A supplier is good as their last order, right? So they have to perform.
Right. Okay.
And as long as both parties are communicating and collaborating professionally, and all steps are taken, and no shortcuts made, then we can rest assured that the quality is good and the deliveries on time, etc.
Okay.
How we evaluate them is on performance, really. So do they fit all the quality criteria, timeliness, and professionalism? So we have a whole process we go through, but those are the 3 main criteria we look at.
Okay. So that's related on their performance of the previous orders, and also like their delivery timelines, and also the quality standards, what they are following on that particular products, and about their professionalism in communication as well. So these are all the parameters which you normally check on every order aspect. And is there anything also on the annual basis, like some of the retailers and importers, they do like annual factory audit, going to the factories and checking about the maintenance of the machines and checking about their quality management systems, and any new automated machinery is been set up on the floors. Is anything related to that aspect, Mr. Michel, like on the annual basis?
Yeah, we would do that in China. We tend to do that just after Chinese New Year, when the factories are quiet, where we would send our people in. And because our people are in the factory all the time, there's a continuous awareness of what's going on in the factory. But that's not enough. We would do a factory audit, because we have to abide by the standards required by our customers as well. So sometimes it is required that we provide a audited annual report to our customers. That being the case, we would do that generally at the start of every year.
Okay. And it's been done every year, right,
Yes,
Mr. Michel?
every year.
Okay. Got it, Mr. Michel. Thank you so much for explaining on the same. And I'll just move ahead for our next question. And so here I just want to know, like, what are the top 2 quality challenges which you faced in your experience, Mr. Michel? And if you can share on those quality challenges of only 2 aspects, which is in the top, that would be really.
There again, I may have alluded to this, but I think the 2 issues stem out of communication, lack of communication. I mentioned earlier about having this open relationship with your supplier, where you can transparently discuss any issues, any bad news. The major quality issues have occurred, or problems have occurred, when this falls down. Now, we're very lucky that we have a great communication, and we treat our factories as our friends, and we socialize with them when we meet, which is a good thing. So when the communication drops, or there's something happening in the factory with your order, which, say for example, there's a fire burning, the garment's been knitted completely out of spec, and we're going to miss the timeline or miss the air freight. Because the factory will always automatically think that, we don't have to communicate this to Supacore, because they will think we're incompetent. Let's fix this problem without telling them that. They will avoid discussing the real issues with them. So, I mean, sometimes they can't do that because our people are in the factory. But
true. Yeah.
But whenever that occurs, it just erupts out of control, because they miss the shipment, our buyer's upset, the orders cancel. So instead of a small issue up front by saying, there's a problem with this, we need to re-knit this or something like that, can you get another 2 or 3 weeks extension early in the piece? Then we can say to our buyers or our customers, sorry,
Okay.
there's been an issue, because they know these problems occur in factories.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if it's early, then they can react and move something around and bring something else in instead of this. So, but
Okay.
when we give them late notice, late in this in the timeline,
Okay.
it's really they probably will cancel it. You see, so
Oh, okay. Okay.
so
So yeah, yeah. So one is related to the lack of communications, which they need to be prompt on their communication on even on the bad news. That's the important aspect you are
that's the
saying.
most important thing, because if you
Yeah.
can't give your friend, your customer the bad news, and
Right. Right.
in this industry, as we all know, be it fashion or medical devices or compression, problems occur.
Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So to
Right.
communicate that is of vital importance.
Yeah. 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 That's I completely agree on the same, Mr. Michel. That's very very important on the same. And with this like second challenges, if you can share something on that aspect also, that would be really great. So what is the
Yeah,
second aspect?
well,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about quality issues we've had recently, and the good news is that we haven't had many, but
Oh, that's great. Okay, okay, that's
but
amazing. Good to know.
what tends to occur is when, for example, the final inspection hasn't been done, or there are irregularities with measurements,
Okay,
with particularly medical grade compression garments.
okay,
The
uh,
tolerances are very, very low. So I think zero
okay.
0.5 centimeters is sometimes the max, right? So
Oh, okay,
because of the of the
okay,
compressions level measured in low, medium, and high, all our garments are high compression, and
okay,
they're high for a reason, because the
okay,
medical grade compression is, for example, to assist with lower back problems or
okay,
groin injuries. So it has
okay,
to be at a certain level. If the government is out of spec, centimeter, 2 centimeters, it has a different effect on the on the consumer.
okay, okay,
So those are some of the problems we've occurred. They're not big problems, but
okay,
it creates added pressure on our quality team to make sure that measurements are within tolerance.
okay, okay, okay.
And this reflects more on medical compression than fashion garments, because if you're 2 centimeters out with pardon
Okay,
me,
okay,
a fashion garment, sometimes it's not that much of a problem. But with
okay,
body
okay.
garments with high compression medical grade, it is a
Mhm.
big problem.
Okay, okay. I completely got it, Mr. Michel. Like one is related to the aspect of you said it's a measurement part, and then another one is related to the communication part, that the factory needs to be transparent. And I
Correct.
completely got that in the medical garment. It's very important that tolerance is very less, like it's 0.5 centimeters, and matching to that and keeping it within the tolerance. That's like very vital for the factories. I completely understand, Mr. Michel. So thank you so much for this, and I think we have one more question left. With this, I'm just moving on our last question. So, what are all the top two sourcing challenges you are facing, like in getting your products into the Australian market, Mr. Michel?
Um,
Any of the sourcing challenges you're facing? I know like you have been working with the two suppliers from longer term, and then
yeah,
I'm sure like maybe you may not be facing that much of challenges in sourcing. And in case if you are
yeah,
getting maybe from your previous organization by your experience, or maybe when you hear from your friends who are in the industry
yeah.
of
Oh, look,
retail and fashion industry, yeah, if
even
you
though
can
we've
share.
been, yes, of course, even though we haven't had many issues with our sourcing recently, because
Yeah,
of the narrow range and the experience, vast experience, and the time we've dealt with these factories. In the
right.
past, we've had numerous problems, and they've mainly occurred because when we've started to use a new factory, we haven't
Okay,
done the proper due diligence on the factory.
okay,
For
okay,
example, we haven't visited the factory, or our team hasn't been, and we
okay,
haven't done an inspection. We haven't trial and tested product, or we've been in such a hurry that we've taken shortcuts.
Okay, okay.
So it's a combination of all the above.
Okay.
And then the factory also,
Okay.
there's this continuous communication issue which always needs to be at the forefront and is of vital importance, because if your communication drops and the factory just says, oh, we can do that, there's no problem.
Okay.
And they know that they can't, or they will look to try and outsource
Outsourced, yeah.
to
Yeah.
another factory. You know, outsourcing is dangerous because you have no control over the quality and you don't know. We always recommend that even though you're maybe a small company sourcing out of China or wherever, that you have your independent quality checks.
Okay.
And your inline quality checks regularly.
Right. Okay.
It may be costly, but it will pay itself. It'll prove to be profitable in the long run, and it'll save you a lot of issues.
Okay.
So the first one was due diligence on factories and not doing that properly. The second one is, I would have to say, in my experience, that most problems occur when shortcuts are taken.
Okay.
Or, you know, we've had in the past, when someone's shipped goods without a final inspection and it comes to our warehouse in Melbourne and it's completely out of spec.
Oh, so, okay.
So the staff have gone to sleep over there before the shipment, you see, so, and not checked it. So those are the types of things you have to be careful and careful about. And also that there again is taking a shortcut, you know, like this factory is it's a good factory. They will make this to spec, but you can't take it for granted. You need to be continuously vigilant.
Right. Completely got it, Mr. Michel. Like one is that related to the due diligence of the factories, which you have been saying that is an important aspect to check on that factory, whether they are like properly legitimate or not, or on those aspects which you need to see. And second is related to about some of this time the factory doesn't have the infrastructure and they like send it to the outsource to the other factory, which is like dangerous for the quality of the products, which is going to finally reach in the destination country. That's important point which I got through this discussion on this particular question, Mr. Michel. Thank you so much for sharing on the same. And with this, actually, we completed all the questions. And I'll just say sincere thanks for you. And also, like I'm sure, like many of our audience and members of our Qualpedia family going to get value out of this discussion by sharing your experience of more than like 32 plus years in the industry. That's amazing, Mr. Michel. That's very detailed and very with good clarity you have been mentioned all those aspects. And I'm sure like many of our viewers going to enjoy this interview session. And we look forward for upcoming more sessions of your sharings in regular periods, in maybe with different contents, and being in the part of our Qualpedia knowledge sharing platform, Mr. Michel.
You're most welcome. It's been an enjoyable experience, and I'm hopefully your members and listeners get some value out of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mr. Michel, and I would like to thank Mr. Pinakin also being in the call and then supporting us in the background to have this session completed successfully over here, Mr. Pinakin. Thank you so much for your.
You're most welcome. And thank you, Michel. Thank you, Michel, for all that wisdom and inspiration.
You're most welcome, Pinakin. Look forward to it anytime. Take care.
Thank you so much.
You.
Bye bye.
All the best.
Take care.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
See you.